M-O-R-A-L-E-S.
And we'll just, I mean, the most obvious question, I'm sure we can imagine how you're feeling, but tell us, what was your reaction when you heard that he was going to receive the death penalty?
Elated. I myself, personally, am happy that the jury came to the decision. Whether they came up with this decision or the other decision, it still doesn't bring my brother back. But very happy to hear the decision.
Absolutely.
So.
Did you see his reaction? I think he finally teared up. I know we haven't seen a lot of reaction.
I didn't even look at him. So I don't know what his reaction was. I mean, he's had no reaction, so I didn't even look at him.
Gary must be weighing heavily on your heart and your mind today. What are you thinking about with Gary?
Yeah, I just, I miss a lot of the things that we used to do. A lot of the holidays, a lot of the parties, and it's just, Gary was that piece of the puzzle that is now gone. And we all miss him. The whole family. I mean, we adored him, and now, we miss him very much.
Yeah.
Is there ever any doubt in your mind that they would reach a guilty verdict and a recommendation for the death penalty?
It's not that there was a doubt in my mind. I was hoping it would go this way. Me personally, I was hoping. It's not, oh, they're definitely going to give it to him. It wasn't that. It was me hoping that it would turn out this way. So.
Any sense of closure after this, now knowing that this difficult phase is over, I guess?
There's really still no closure. I mean, Gary's not here. No matter which way this outcome could have went, my brother's not here. So there's no closure. My brother's not here. So.
2.5 years, though, of wondering, will he get the death penalty? Will he get life? You're thinking about this all the time. I mean, how does it feel to at least finally have that decision kind of behind you?
It kind of takes a little bit off your shoulders. But again, it doesn't bring him back. It could have gone either way, and either way, Gary's still not here with us. So.
Is there anything that you guys do tonight as a family, just to kind of, I don't know if you would call this a...
No, I don't know. They haven't, we haven't had any plans for tonight, but it's, both sides, it's a tragic for both sides, and there's really nothing to, be jumping up and down about.
What's the next step for you guys as a family? I mean,
just move forward and live our lives and keep Gary in our hearts and our memory like we do every day. So
you watched a lot of this trial with the prosecution, and you saw what happened here in court every day. What do you think of the job that they did?
Tom Backador, I mean, what an awesome guy. He really good, really good, and I'm happy with the things he did, and it was really good. I was very pleased with how he did his thing. So really good, really good.
You still living here in PSL? Or
I'm still here.
And
still
how old
here.
are you?
I'm 42.
42.
42. But don't tell anybody that.
Oh, I got a few years on you.
How are his children? Are they, do they understand the gravity of this yet? What do you guys do to kind of keep
I mean, that would be a question, for Holly, my sister-in-law. But when I do see them, I mean, they play with my children, and they go and have a good time. And I'm sure in their own, when they're either by themselves or they have their memories, and they can have their moments of missing their daddy. But when they come over, they play with my kids, and they have fun. They have fun. So. Yeah.
Any questions? Thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
And you don't mind if we ask you a few questions as well? Are you comfortable? Just two? Only two. We better think them out real well. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm trying to get handsy here.
Yes, sure.
Just kidding. And I'll come on this side. You can just look at me. You don't have to look at the camera.
The bright light.
You're the bright light. I know. And will you, as well, just for the record, just spell your name?
Holly Morales, M-O-R-A-L-E-S.
Perfect. And now can I ask you the same question? 2.5 years, you've been waiting to know what this decision would be. How did you feel when it finally came in with the death penalty?
We're happy, but just like Kenny said, it doesn't bring him back, so either way, it's the same for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you move forward from this decision today? Does this make it easier to kind of start putting all this behind you and move forward? Is that even possible to do? How do you move forward from all this?
Oh, it probably makes it a little easier for us to start the next chapter, but it's still difficult. Yeah. It's something we'll never get over.
Right.
This whole trial's been very difficult for our family.
I think one of the most, things that people really touched by is that Gary was a father. He left behind kids. I think kids is the one thing everyone really relates to. Tell us how they are doing. And
They're great.
yeah,
They are. They're strong kids.
yeah.
They have a lot of his personality.
How old are they now?
9 and 10.
Gotcha. Do they seem to be aware of everything that's been going on? Do you try to kind of protect them from all of this?
No, they've always known. They're smart. There's nothing to hide from them, unfortunately. Yeah.
Did they ask you any questions this morning, knowing that I guess today was the day, or did you tell them anything this morning, or?
No, not really. Just, are you going to be home earlier than you have been for the last 3 weeks?
Did we get dinner earlier today?
That's about it. No,
Okay.
no.
I can only imagine how you felt even just waking up today, and knowing today was the day. Like, talk us through that if you can. I mean, that's an emotion I can only imagine was...
No, we haven't really woken up for a lot of days. All of us haven't been sleeping very much,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You feel
I
like
don't-
you've just been kind of going through the motions with
Yes.
this trial, with everything that's been going on?
yes,
Maybe tonight will be a good sleep then, maybe.
hopefully.
What
Yeah.
were you thinking about Gary during all of this? I'm sure today, of course, he's on your mind. What kind of things were you thinking about as you're waiting for that verdict?
Just justice be served for him. Yeah.
Do you think justice was served?
Yes. But then again, just like Kenny said, he's not coming back, no matter what. But yes, I do. I think we all feel that way. So,
Yeah. Kind of I guess, in a terrible situation, this is the best thing you think could come of it, someone getting the utmost punishment for taking your loved one from you.
yeah. Yeah. Because of the way it went down, yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess, was there ever a doubt in your mind that this would be the decision? Was there a worry ever, or were you pretty confident with Tom back at all that he had this?
Tom, yes. Tom rocks. I don't know. He's not paying attention to us, but he's the best. Yeah, he's awesome.
And she asked Ken this, but did you look at Tisdale at all during when
No.
the decision came down?
No,
Do you think that he's remorseful whatsoever?
no. I've failed to see that ever once during this whole time.
How are you gonna now that this? How are you gonna move on? I guess to the next part of your life. I mean,
Just keep doing what we've been doing. Yep.
If Tisdale is given a death sentence and the governor ever signs it, would you attend his execution?
Yes. Especially for my girls. Yeah.
Why is
Definitely.
that? Why would you?
Um, this is what they want. Also, they're haven't been this. It's not the same for them, obviously, and they're angry and they're children, so think what they would think as a child, what they would want.
You want to see this whole thing through
Yeah.
every day. And that was kind of, do you try to now distance yourself from this case a little bit? Are you still going to track every development, every appeal? I mean, do you try to distance yourself just to, stay positive, keep moving forward? I mean, what's your future plans as far as following this case and keeping
Oh
up
no,
with
we'll
it?
keep up with it. We're not going to let it, because we're not going to forget about Gary. So we'll keep up with it for sure.
And that's to do with the age of your girls when it happened. They say around 7, 8. That's a very, very difficult age to
They were 6 and 8.
6 and 8.
Brooklyn had just turned 8 3 days before.
And so that's, as far as maturity level too within kids and understanding the scope of everything that happened.
They're pretty mature. Yeah, they understood. Yeah.
What do you say to them tonight?
I'll tell them. But they got what they asked for. Especially the little one. That's what she asked for. So.
She did ask for this. This is what she wanted.
she asked for the death penalty. Okay.
Oh yeah. I can't tell you what she really said, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, is Brooklyn the oldest or is Jordan the oldest?
Brooklyn's the oldest.
I would think you go home and you say, Dad got some justice today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they were, well, I know like some of us were streaming it live. Do you think they've gotten the news yet?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Unless there's anything else you want to say that we didn't ask, anything you want to say about Gary or just in closing?
No.
Been very kind for your
Thanks.
time.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your night.
Thank you.
Not having to come back tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to look at Tom Bagadell again. All day.
That's a great picture right there.
Yeah, that's a great picture of the team.
Just gonna say that's around your foot. Trying to keep it so.
Can we stand in front of you?
Yeah, in front of you. So I'll get head like this.
Thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. I'm just going to clip this to your tie. Just about there. Is that okay there?
That's perfect.
You'll just look at me. Don't just look at the bright light. And just for the record for us, spell your first and your last name.
Ron Wentz, R-O-N-W-E-N-T-Z,
And your official title?
detective,
St. Louis County.
St. Louis County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. So talk about first your involvement with this case. Were you on one of the first on scene after the shooting happened?
I was not the first on scene, but I was there directly thereafter, and I was assigned to be the lead detective in this case.
And
Have you, I assume you've investigated other homicides before, or?
Yes, that's correct.
I assume, obviously, this one probably a lot different than other ones when you're investigating the killer of one of your own. Talk us through how that is different from a typical murder investigation.
Well, it's totally different. Investigating the death of one of your friends is not a position I hope anyone else ever has to be in, quite frankly.
Well, were you tied with Gary?
Yes.
Just like on a personal level, I guess? Or?
Yes. It was very difficult to separate the emotion from the work.
So you would say you're, I guess, close friends with Gary at the time, or?
Yes.
What do you think he was doing that day, Tisdale? He didn't have anything in his car from the store.
I don't even want to speculate.
Are you happy with the way it turned out?
Yes, I am. Extremely pleased.
I mean, for 2.5 years, you've had that weighing on your mind. Will he get the death? Did our investigation, supply enough information for him to get the death penalty, or will he get life in prison? I mean, what were you hoping would happen today? Is this what you wanted?
Yes, it is. And for 2.5 years, I've lived this every day.
Yeah.
Well.
What's it like having that over? Yeah.
It's a huge relief.
I imagine you must have been perhaps pretty anxious or nervous coming into court every day, wondering, okay, did we dot all our I's, cross all our T's, or did we do it enough? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was pretty unnerving to get involved in this process. I worked very closely with the state attorney's office, Mr. Backendall in particular. So we started on day one making sure we were doing the right thing, doing everything the right way by the book.
Why is that so crucial in this case?
Number one, we don't want to come back with a not guilty. Number two, we don't want to have any appeal issues because of something that we did.
Is this the most difficult case you've had to investigate, seeing how it's not just a co-worker but also a friend, I would think?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, you've all seen the photo of Sergeant Morales' brilliant smile with the American flag in the background. Today he has a reason to smile.
What went through your mind? I mean, if you can take us back just to the emotion that you're feeling, listening, waiting. I mean, the anticipation building up, and then he reads that verdict. I mean, what went through your mind?
I didn't even know what to think. Quite frankly, I didn't go to lunch. I sat out in the hallway the entire time. I didn't know, you know.
How did you cry? Did you sigh? I mean, how did you react? Like, what did?
It was just I didn't cry. I want to. It was just a huge sense of relief for everyone involved.
Do you have any kids of your own?
Yes, I do.
So obviously having kids of your own too, when you go home now, I don't know if they're the same age as his kids are, but is there something different now too with what goes through your mind now, knowing that you have young kids and you're in a job where
Things can be
Well,
dangerous.
the reality is it could have been any of you.
That is correct. If it could be Gary, it could have been any of us. The misfortunate thing is that it was Gary. Not that any of us need to be or want to be in that position, but like Mr. Backendall said in his closing arguments today, we all know that when we go to work in the morning.
How many years have you been with the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office?
19.
19, okay.
You finally get to put this somewhat behind you. You don't have to worry about that the stress of trial and, like he said, dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's. It's all behind you now.
That's correct.
What would you, do you believe that justice was served for Sergeant Morales today?
I do.
Will it ever be enough?
No.
Why?
You can never replace it.
When was the last time you and Gary spoke? Obviously before the incident. How was it? Did you speak like that day or a week before, or do you recall?
It was probably the week before, down in the patrol briefing room.
Just normal exchanging pleasantries or whatever? Or?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, Gary was a fun guy. He was goofy, and he always had a good time.
Did you see his reaction today?
Yes, I did.
What did you think about it? I think we saw him shed a few tears.
Yeah, I don't think it was the reaction that you would expect from most people had they just been told that the jury found them was going to recommend sentence of death. But
What would you have expected?
I would have at least expected a breakdown.
What does that tell you about him?
I don't want to comment on that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm good. I'm good. Anything else you want to say we didn't ask you about? Appreciate it.
Thank
One
you,
thing
sir.
I'll say about this guy is he's very humble in speaking to you about his investigation, but it was because of his investigation and the men and women of the Sheriff's Office that worked on this case that they preserved the evidence, gathered the witnesses, and worked through this heaviness of having lost a comrade. And then this guy here took what these guys did through the investigation, and he made that unbelievable presentation to the jury. And I think the testament is that the jury came back guilty on all charges after what, I think it was 5 hours. And today they came back after just an hour and a half or 2 hours with the recommendation of death.
Sheriff, can
So-
I swap that mic over to you just so I can get
Yeah.
So he's humble now, but he did a fantastic job, and it's already been mentioned. Our Assistant State Attorney Tom Backendall and Daryl Eisenhower did a fantastic job in presenting it to the jury.
And Sheriff, when you look at the bigger picture on this, you know, the entire community with the blue lights on their homes, do you feel supported? Do you feel?
Well, we talk about this all the time. There has been a turn in the sentiment against law enforcement, but we feel maybe the turn is coming back in supporting law enforcement. And, you know, it's not incidents like this that create that. It's a magnitude of incidents where people finally realize that law enforcement does a very important job, a dangerous job, and 99.9% of interactions public have with law enforcement, they are such positive reactions or interactions, and the public knows that. So that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Backendall, final words? Closing statement. Closing statement, please.
And how did do we know the breakdown of the jurors? It was 9, do you know what it was?
9-3.
9-3?
9-3.
Is that okay? If I can actually clip it. Hold on.
Okay.
So you going fishing tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to have 3 beers. I guess I'm a drunk. Alcoholic, whatever the case is. Okay, so, yeah.
I took that personally.
Yeah, you did? See, me too. That hurts.
So Tom, when you close this case today, you said they're going to ask you for mercy and I'm going to ask you for justice. I'll ask you the same question. Do you think you can ever really get justice in this case with how awful it was?
Well, we can get justice here in the courtroom, but ultimate justice is, of course, out of our hands, and I feel that inevitably he will receive his just desserts. But we did strike a blow for justice today. I want to echo a sentiment that the sheriff made. We're living in difficult times, and law enforcement is under assault. And I think it's time that we step back and we take some measure of appreciation or offer some appreciation to the men and women who wear the uniform, because they're patrolling your streets, they're protecting your neighborhoods, and they're protecting your families. And this nonsense has got to stop. You know, it's just, it's gotten out of hand. And so I do believe we struck a blow for justice today. And I got to tell you, I'm exceedingly proud of that jury. That is a true mixture of the community. It had something of everything. Men, women, black, white, Hispanic. They came together with a unanimous verdict and found him guilty, and they made a recommendation that they thought was justice. And so I applaud them.
You've had to have interactions with the defense and Tisdale and things like that this whole trial. You know, have you ever gotten closer to the why of it?
To the why of the murder? Yeah, I know why. He didn't want to go to prison. I mean, this is simple. This is not we're not doing brain surgery in here. We're not, you know, we don't need a divining rod. I know why he did what he did. He did what he did to avoid personal responsibility. It's as simple as that. People want to find more to it, but life is not quite that complicated, I don't think.
You live in a time it's that simple that if someone doesn't like law enforcement, they're just going to kill them?
Some kid shot somebody in a parking lot of a college this morning, and during the course of this trial, there were some multitude of kids shot at a community college. So should anything surprise us? Nothing surprises me.
I have to wonder too, like you were talking about, you know, law enforcement kind of being under assault right now. Do you think this verdict, someone might see, oh, he killed a cop and now he's going to face the death penalty likely. Do you think that might make someone else think twice?
Well, that's like the debate, isn't it? Is the death penalty a deterrent? I like to think it is. If this deters one person from engaging a law. But it is what it is.
The 9-3, I guess, decision, did you expect something like that, or did you, I don't know.
Daryl says I predicted 9-3 at the beginning.
Tom, you work very close. You're here to represent justice for Gary, and the family has been here the whole time. Incredibly difficult for them to sit through this.
Yeah.
6 weeks, not reacting. how do you keep a straight face sometimes when they're saying things, and what do you tell the family to get them through this? Because you have to take it together. You have to get through this together.
Well, who said I kept a straight face?
Well,
You know, but I'll tell here's the most significant problem with the criminal justice system as I perceive it, and that is there's a re-victimization of the victims. They sat here, they saw these pictures, and Holly had handed me pictures of the girls and wanted me to enter them into evidence, and I had to say no, because I had to protect this record, and that's my job. And then I had to sit in this courtroom and watch them play videos as he sang the ABCs with his kid and giggled and played. And, you know, so we lose sight of the victims, and the victims are re-victimized in the criminal justice system. It's unfortunate, but it's a fact of life that we had to deal with, and I think that the family handled it with the utmost decorum, and I think they conducted themselves incredibly. A hell of a lot better than I would have if it was my wife, I'll tell you that.
You know, Tom, some people have said that too when it's the death penalty process of re-victimizing because, you know, the appeals and the possibility of a do-over, you know, but it's still worth it?
I do. I'm a strong advocate for the death penalty, and of course the death penalty is under great assault. Many people talk about the expense of the death penalty. I can tell you that we probably spent less than $5,000 in the preparation of our case. Now that doesn't include the manpower and the man hours, but in terms of expenses, yeah, I absolutely, I think it's worth it. There are some crimes that are so heinous, so deplorable that justice screams out for the death penalty. So, you know, the most difficult part of a death penalty case, from Daryl and I's perspective, is preserving the record. That's our job, because I don't want to see these people again in 6 years go through this. And so I get angry because of when I think people are playing games, because this is not a game. When people are trying to pollute my record, I get angry. And so there were a couple of times where I probably didn't act very professionally, and I certainly apologize to the people for that, but it's our job to preserve this record, and I feel confident. Daryl and I discussed it on the way over. I think we got a solid record here for appeal, and you know, we're ready to take the next step.
Is this the first time you yourself personally have prosecuted someone accused of killing a police officer or a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, this is my 10th or 11th death penalty case, but this is the first case that I've ever had that involved the death of a law enforcement officer. And I don't have many years left, and I hope it's my last one.
10th or 11th where someone's been sentenced to the death penalty or just been facing it? How many of you actually given the death penalty?
A total of 10 or 11. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think. Yeah.
Okay. Would you attend Tisdale's execution?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I shouldn't stand in front of a jury and ask for the death penalty if I can't bring myself to witness it. So, I mean, I would have no, I don't have a bloodlust or anything, but I could certainly do it.
Did you feel pressure from the community to get this conviction? I mean, I know it's almost, I mean, we knew he shot him, we knew that, but there were so many people who were watching you.
No, I don't, it's not so much the community, but the family. You know they're back there, and it's tough. I mean, they're sitting right there, and you want it for them so bad. So that's the pressure to me, but that's why they make coffee.
I always wonder, who are you watching when he reads the verdict? Are you watching just the judge, or are you looking at his...
I'm not looking at anything. I'm just holding my breath, hoping I don't pass out. You know, Daryl, we have an emergency plan. Daryl, give mouth to mouth. He's great.
I wouldn't admit it that much.
Yeah. And there's our bites.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.